Hi, my name's Burgo and today I'm going to share with you my beginner's block building method for solving the Rubik's Cube. I think my method is intuitive because I try to target areas and not faces to leave the most amount of faces available to twist without disrupting what's already been built. For example, the first area that I'm going to solve on the cube is going to be this area here, which is a 2x2x2 block on the cube. I might start with this just to give it a few twists and scramble it up just to show you what I mean. Now the great thing about this puzzle is it shows that I have individual pieces here that are edge pieces and corner pieces that are able to move around the puzzle, whereas the center pieces remain stationary. I'm going to put these pieces back together, and the other thing is this puzzle allows me to see clearly which pieces I need to ignore, which are all these black pieces. So I'll target an edge piece first, and I'll put this edge piece between the relevant centers. So this green and orange edge piece belongs between these two. If I twist this around until it lines up, until this tile lines up with this center piece or sticker, and then I just rotate that around, I'll put it in its correct position. The next piece that I'll target will be my corner piece, and I'll want to have the white sticker on the top there to match the white center piece. If I've got that in a different position, I'll do it without disrupting these. I've got one here solved incidentally, so I'll ignore that at the moment. And I'll put a corner piece on top of this. So I can rotate that corner piece by moving faces that that aren't in between these centers. So any of these faces here I can rotate to get whichever color sticker on the top I'd like to. Notice that I'm leaving these areas here able to be, or these faces able to be rotated without disrupting these. And then I'll pull this on top there. Now that I've got my two pieces in place, I'll then insert my my edge pieces. I want the ones with the white stickers facing up, and I can obviously twist that around to put the other sticker on top if I'd like to, just by using my two unused faces on the back. My problem is to insert this here without disrupting this piece. So without disrupting the corner piece. So if I give this a couple of twists, you see my corner piece comes away. In order to not make my corner piece come away, I use the same coloured sticker here. If that same coloured sticker, in this case green, is facing me, I'll just pull this face here down. That's called a setup move, so I'll just do a setup move to remove those pieces temporarily, and then I'm free to spin my top piece around and then return my setup move. This interesting situation here where I've got this one in here flipped, so I'll have to do my setup move first. So I'm going to move my orange block, or my orange stickers down, so I move this block here away temporarily, remove that piece. Now I can turn that back, or I could leave it down, but I'll just turn it back because this is a beginner's method. I'll rotate or reorientate that edge piece there just by twisting it around two faces that are unused at the moment. And again, I'll need to do my setup move, otherwise I'll disrupt these two pieces that I've placed. So I'll just move those out of the way, turn that into position, and then turn that setup move back. And I've got my first 2x2x2 block solved. Now I might just run through and solve that on the actual Rubik's Cube. Just leave that in the background there so that you can see what it looks like when all of the other stickers are there and making things a little bit confusing. The first one that I solved from memory was the orange orange and green. So in this case it's in between its two centerpieces, but it's flipped around. So I'll give a couple of twists until I line that up, and then I'll twist that into position there. I'll put my white sticker on the top there so that I can have it the same as this cube for you, and I'll be looking for my green and orange and white, and it's there. So I want to twist that in such a way around my unused faces, around these unused faces. I want to twist it so that my white sticker comes up to the top without disrupting this little bar here, and then rotate it into position. Next I'll be looking for my white and green, or my white and orange, whatever one I sort of see first. I'll target off. In this case I can see my white and orange there, and I'll twist it around my unused faces until my white comes up. The only thing I don't have to disrupt, I don't want to disrupt at the moment, is this piece, this bar across here. So what I'll do is I'll twist that around to here, but I can't disrupt this corner piece that I've positioned. So I'll twist this down out of the way. That way I can move this orange sticker around, and then I can move that block back up. And finally my green and white, which is here, I'll twist that up to the top. I could reorientate it if I wanted to if I needed to put the white sticker on top. So you can see my green sticker goes on. I'm not twisting any of these faces, I'm just twisting the faces on the back. Reorientate it if I'd like to, and then in this case I'll be moving my green sticker down because my green sticker's there. So I'll move my green sticker down like that, twist the top around until it lines up, and join it back together. Okay, what I've done now is I've added a couple of extra pieces to show you that we're going to be making a 2 by 2 by 3 block now. We're going to be adding this little section here to our solved pieces. I'll just go ahead and scramble this up a little bit. Just quickly, you can see there's been an extra centerpiece added, and that centerpiece, like the other centerpieces, doesn't move around. The first piece that I'm going to twist into place now is going to be this corner piece here. I'm going to choose my red and white and green corner piece. Now if it's up in the wrong position, if it's orientated incorrectly, I can still twist around my faces, my undesignated faces, to place that. So what I'll do is I'll twist on the back there until the red sticker comes up, and then twist around, twist my red face around and place my corner piece. And luckily when I put my white and red piece into there, it'll knock that piece out of its incorrect position at the same time. So I'm going to move up my white and red edge piece, and then I'll need to reorientate it. I'll need to put the red sticker up, and I can do that around the back without knocking any of these out of position as well. And then because the sticker that's down here is white, what I'll need to do is I'll need to move my white one down to place it next to it so that none of this gets disrupted. Now you notice when I do that twist, nothing here is going to be disrupted by that top U-turn that I do. So I'll place that in, and then I can just turn that setup move back. Likewise with this piece, when I put it up and match up my red sticker to my red center there, the green one down here needs to spin around, and so that I don't knock those out, I'll just do my setup move, twist that in, and then twist that back up. And there's my 2 by 2 by 3 block completed. move on to this, and the face that I did was the red face. So likewise I'll mirror it on this. There's my green, red and white piece. I'll just twist my back faces, one of my back faces there, my undesignated face, and twist that into position to line up the stickers, and then when I twist it around it will be in its correct position. The next thing I'll do is one of these edge pieces. So I'll choose, in this case I've got just the green one here, the green and red. If I twist that green and red piece up to the top that way, the green sticker will go up, which is incorrect. So I'll need to twist it up this way. I'm still not disrupting that. Twist it up this way and then twist the matching green sticker down. Twist that around the top there and back up, and that part's done. I'm looking for my red and white. In this case it's there, but it's not orientated correctly, is it? So I'll need to twist my undesignated faces until that's twisted around into position, and then again twist that down, set up, move a couple of turns to put that into position, and then twist that back up, and I've got my block, my 2x2x3 block. Okay, next I'm going to add another 1x1x2 block to the mix. I'm going to add it in such a way that it's part of the larger clump. If I was to add that 1x1x2 block over here hanging off the edge of my clump, that would be the only situation where it would be incorrect. It could be there, it can be there. It just needs to be part of that larger clump to be correct. I've now got to be a little bit more careful about which faces I turn in my setup moves, but it's still completely doable intuitively. You'll notice that what I'm trying not to do is to give you any sequences. I'm trying not to add any kind of sequences at all. I just want to do intuitive twists and build the thing with blocks. Now I'm going to do a bit of a setup move there and that sort of thing to help me scramble this up a little bit more. Just to give a better idea of how to go about doing it. Okay, I think that's sufficiently scrambled. Now, first thing that I'll do is I'll just, like with my other blocks, I'm going to start with my corner piece, and I'm going to put my orange and blue and white corner piece in its correct position. Obviously I need to reorientate it so that my blue sticker will be on the top and match with my blue centerpiece. So I'll just twist it around some of my undesignated faces till I get it lined up. You can reorientate quite easily with two faces. As you can see, I just twisted it completely around in a circle. I'll twist that into position now and line it up, and what I'll do is I'll place my edge pieces around in the same sort of manner. Now I will need to do some setup moves involving other faces, and that's where this cube with some of the pieces missing is really helpful in demonstrating what I might want to do. In this case I've got an edge piece that needs flipping around, and I can't really do that with just these two faces. What I'll have to do is I'll have to use another face now. I'll have to use temporarily split up one of my blocks that I've already built, and just temporarily move that around like that, out of position, so that I can slide this one up to match up my blue sticker there, and then slide that back. So I'm just temporarily knocking it out of position in order to change the orientation of some of my pieces. So now my blue sticker's up the top there. Likewise, I can't just pull this down anymore, because if I did, this whole area would be knocked out when I go to move in my orange sticker, and that would start scrambling my cube. So what I need to do is be a little bit more selective about what I do, or a little bit trickier, and I'll just need to move the position of this in order to not disrupt that. So I can move that around to, in this case I want to put my orange sticker here, on my orange and blue piece into this position. So what I can do is I can move that around in such a way that I can now turn this undesignated face, turn that out of the way, turn my piece that I wanted to line it up, and then turn that back. Then when I twist that back around into position, you can see it's been placed correctly. Again, I've got another piece there, the white and blue piece. This happens to be orientated correctly this time. I'll need to line these two pieces here up with this undesignated face in order to do that. So I'll need to shift that around to there. I'll need to twist this undesignated face down. I can now freely rotate my top face and then line that up and twist it back into position, and I've solved that part. So I've added another block to that original block. I'll run through that on the Rubiks cube now. I'll be making my 1x1x2 block here, just like this cube, to keep it all uniform. So I'll move my blue, orange and white piece up to the top there. I'll need to reorientate it, so I can just use my two undesignated faces to reorientate it and place it. And you'll notice that first of all my white and blue edge piece has gone in there upside down, so I'll need to split them up. I'll just move that one out of the way, move it around and move that back up so that I've split them up. They're not next to each other anymore, and I'll need to flip this over. So if I temporarily move that out of its position, twist that up, my blue stick is there lined up, and now I can just put that back. Let's put this around the correct way, this edge piece here around the correct way, and I will move this corner piece around to my undesignated face. There's my white sticker there. My white sticker's here. I can move it away, move my blue and white piece around, line it up and put it in place, and there it is in its correct position. The next piece is this one here. This is in the incorrect orientation as well if I move my undesignated face up. So again, I'm going to need to, I'll move this out of the way, move that up. In reorientating this piece here, what I've done is I've split up this original 2x2x3 block here that I've made, and I've done that in order to reorientate this edge piece here so that I can place it with these two pieces here. I've marked these with a little bit of masking tape just to demonstrate which pieces I care about and which pieces I don't at this present stage. Right. These pieces over here are irrelevant to me, but they can be a little bit distracting. Now, what I've done is like I said before, I've split up that piece there, and now that I've got these pieces here all orientated, they're the ones that I care about. When I twist this one here back down, if I'm calling this up here my upper layer or my U layer. When I twist these pieces back down, the pieces that I want to go across there are and the ones that I don't care about, and that's across here. That's easy to see on this cube, on this puzzle here, but on this one it's a little bit more distracting, so I wanted to really point that out and show you exactly what I'm doing. If I then if I then twist the top layer around there, it doesn't affect those, and it doesn't affect this clump here that I've kept separate there. When I twist this back into position, I want to make sure that I've got pieces across here that I don't care about. So when I twist that around there, I've moved nothing that I care about, and these pieces here are all in position ready now, so that when I rotate my upper layer back across, they're in position and ready to receive this piece here. So this is the undesignated face at the moment, this yellow face. When I twist this around, these two pieces that are combined together, when I twist those around, I don't want to push them around into such a position that they're going to be split up across this yellow. When I twist the yellow face, when I put them on the undesignated face, I want them in a position where they're going to stay together. So that when I twist that out of the way, and bring it around here and I'll show you, when I twist that out of the way and I bring around my orange sticker to line up with this orange sticker, that everything's going to stay together. And then I twist that out of the way, bring that around and put it back, that now all my pieces are joined up, and I just rotate the top layer now around until they're back into their position. Before we move on, let's just have a look at the cube in its current solved state, and which pieces are solved and need protecting, and which pieces we have available to move around. Now you might say at this stage, I'm in a lot of trouble. All I can really do is move this one face here, and any other face is going to put pieces in the position where they're going to be scrambleable. So you might think that you're very restricted, but what we actually have across here is we have the ability to twist this face and then make turns here, and we also have the ability to twist this face and to make turns across here. So it might seem like the puzzle is quite restricted, but in fact with our little setup moves that we can do quite a bit and affect the pieces on this last in this last area. And the next piece that I'm going to add, or the next block that I'm going to add, is this block in the back here, so that I leave this Y shape across here. And that's it. That's our goal. This next 1 by 1 by 2 block up here, placed, all the pieces placed so that I've got this Y shape here that's left. Alright. It doesn't matter what the colours are. I've done it with white on the bottom and yellow on the top, just simply because that's how a lot of people begin learning how to solve the cube. It's a standard way to put white at the bottom, but you can do it with any colour in any of these stages that I've mentioned. So I'm going to go ahead and scramble this around a little bit, and then we'll put it onto this puzzle. Okay, here we go. There's my pieces that I'm interested in, scattered around the cube and unsolved. As usual, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this corner piece the correct way around. I'm going to orientate that with some setup moves, and I'll just the yellow sticker goes this way. I'll do my setup move across there. You can see that that's not affecting anything that I care about, and I'm going to place that into position, and I've got a row there that I don't care about. Of course, nothing at the moment I really care about except for this, so I'll just twist that back into position. So I used a setup move, one of the setup moves on the side, to place that the correct way around. Now, straight away I noticed that in one of the positions I've got a piece that I do care about, and that's this one here. So when I place this one, it will move that out of that position. If it was flipped in its correct position, I'd separate them. So I'll endeavour to place this one first. This is orientated incorrectly. An easy way to reorientate one of these edge pieces is to place it down here into this position here. So I'll flip that up to receive it, turn it in, and turn it back down. Alright. For the sake of this, I'll turn that back to its original position. I'll try to keep these in their original position for you. And then I'm just going to have to turn it up the other way. So I'm going to turn that up this way this time so that my sticker is in the correct position. And again, I've got some pieces that I care about and pieces that I don't. And it's just starting to become more and more relevant to keep your eye on those pieces that you don't care about and separate them from the ones you do. These are the two pieces that I care about. They're in this position. This row here, I have no interest in whatsoever. So now that I've correctly orientated that, I'll turn the row that I don't care about across the face that I twisted in my setup move, and then I'll twist my setup move back down, and nothing here has been of interest to me. And if I twist that back, you'll notice now there's my corner piece that's been placed and my edge piece that's ready to go in next to it. So I'll twist my U layer until my corner piece is on top of one of these blocks here. This has been the easiest way that I think, or the easiest way I think that it is to understand this. But if I just twist that onto the top of there, now I can move this down to receive my edge piece there. There's my edge piece. My green stickers need to line up. This is nothing that I care about, so I can twist that out of the way. And I've got those pieces that I don't care about on the top, and twisting my U layer around now, I can twist that back into position, and that locks that piece into place. And I've got my two pieces joined together with my other piece that's been knocked out. The way that this orientates is to twist that up so that I've orientated it correctly. There's my row I don't care about. Turn it on top of my setup move, turn my setup move back. Now I just need to bring these two groups together, and I just do that as I normally would do. I'll twist it on top of this block here, twist my block down so that the pieces that I don't care about come up, twist my orange sticker across to match, bring them up together, and then place my block in its finished state. And then I've got my last Y shape left here. Let's see how that works on the Rubik's Cube when we're a little bit more distracted by the pieces that are just floating around. Alright. Let's have a go. I'm going to have my yellow face on the top there, and the pieces that I wanted to place were this green, orange and yellow. So my green, orange and yellow is down here. I need to twist it up in such a way that my yellow sticker goes to the top. So it won't be that way, it'll be that way. There's my block that I've moved, and I'll just move that around till it's in its correct position there, and twist my block back. The next pieces that I'll be looking for are these ones here. In this case I've got the orange one here that's just already orientated the correct way. I'll just use that. I'll bring my orange piece my orange sticker. I'll bring that around to the top of this. There's my Y shape across here. I'll bring that around to the top of this piece so that when I twist that down out of the way, I can reorientate, I can rotate my yellow face until the orange sticker comes there and they join up. Then I can place them into their correct position, and here's my Y shape here with pieces that I don't really care about in. Now here's my last piece that needs to go in here. Make sure that when I turn it up, and this is where it can get a little bit distracting, but make sure that when I turn it up that I'm aware of which pieces I want to preserve and which pieces I don't. I want to preserve that, and I want to preserve those. This is my area that I don't want to preserve, that's irrelevant, so I'll move those pieces across there, and when I undo my setup move and put my pieces back, there's my pieces that I've preserved. And I want my green sticker to go on top of this block here, so that this becomes a block here, this 1 by 2 by 3 block across there becomes a block that I can turn down. So I'll turn that block down and bring up these 3 that are irrelevant, move my green and yellow piece across to there and align those back up together. Then I can move them into position, and unfortunately, distractingly I should say, it might seem fortunate, but it's not, because it's a little bit distracting. These pieces here have gone in accidentally, so I might just scramble them up a little bit so that they're not distracting. And you can see that this larger block has been made, and all we've got left is this Y pattern. Now there is a certain sequence of moves that we can do across that Y pattern that only affects the pieces within that Y pattern and doesn't affect the pieces in the other part of the solved puzzle. And I'll just do a quick run through and you'll be able to see. It's quite simple. All we need to do is turn 2 faces and hold the rest of the cube still stationary. And what I'll do is I'll just turn the top face away from me, turn the right face away from me, turn the top face back, and turn the right face back. And that simple sequence of moves has affected this Y pattern in the cube and has not affected any of the other block that we've gone through and solved. And I can do that in a different direction. I can do that in whatever direction I'd like to. I can put it on my left hand side here, and I can turn the top face away from me. I could turn the left face up, away from me, sorry. I can turn the top face back and the left face back. So there, I've done it in a different angle. I can twist the puzzle around any way that I like and perform that away, back, back sort of sequence, and you can see that it's starting to scramble up my puzzle. But only across this Y shape, and I'm preserving the rest of my puzzle. So we're going to take advantage of that. And what we're looking for in this situation now to place these edge pieces, those last edge pieces, is we need a situation where 2 edge pieces just twist into their positions and 1 edge piece would twist in an unorientated position or a position that needs flipping. So once you've got those 2, what you've got to do on your first twist is to place the first one. On your second twist, you've got to place the one that needs flipping, and then when you put them back, that last piece will go in like that. On this side, that's what it looks like. You've got your piece that needs flipping here, you've got your two pieces that don't need flipping here and here, and when you twist your first piece into place, goes in correctly, your second piece becomes flipped the second time, and then that comes over and comes back together. Now if I randomly scramble this now, you'll see you might end up with situations like this where you've got two pieces that are flipped. In that case, you just need to, they're in their correct positions, but they're flipped. You just need to apply that sequence. And what you're doing is you're looking at the cube in more of a three-dimensional way. There's a nice little pattern there, but that nice little pattern doesn't have any cubies in position where they can twist in, as we said, that like every one is flipped. And in this case, I would just need to randomly perform that sequence that I showed you, and then you've got a situation where you've got something that that will work, because I've got one that will twist in, one that goes in flipped, and the other one twists in. So once I've got that situation where I've got one that's flipped when it twists in and the others just go in, it's my turn to put this one in that's flipped on its second twist. So I'll place my first one there, put the flipped one in on the second twist, twist back, and my edge pieces are solved. Next I'm going to show you what we call a parity error in the cube, where one edge piece will be in a solvable position and the other two will be unsolvable. In other words, you'll have two pieces that need swapping. That's a bit trickier, and I'm going to show you a little fix for that. Now this is where you might feel that you're actually solving the cube a little bit more than what you would with other methods, because some methods can bury this this idea that this happens with a puzzle, and that is that these two pieces here are swapped in this circumstance, and we've got one piece here that's solved. So all I've done is pulled those tiles there off and switch them around, and I'll show you how I can go about fixing that. Now I could show you an optimum sequence of moves that would allow you to learn a sequence and solve this particular problem, but in this tutorial I want to teach you how the puzzle actually works, and to create a fix yourself. I need to put these pieces into a 3 cycle, and at the moment they're in a swap. So what I would need to do is reorientate the one of the layers. In this case I'm going to reorientate the U face by one twist. That 90-degree twist will create a 3 cycle for those pieces instead of a swap. But obviously I'm going to need to put these back. I'm going to need to put these pieces here that I've moved back over into this position here. I'll show you how I go about doing that. These two of these pieces I'm going to leave together. So when I attach them to this block and I move them down, I'll just separate them from this one like that. And remember, the pieces that we care about and the pieces that we don't, they're separated from that one. And then I'm going to move this one. That becomes my critical move, because these pieces will go back next to that one when I put them together. So I'm going to move this one across on top of any side, move it down out of the way, get my block here that I don't care about, they're the ones I care about. I'll get this block here that I don't care about, and I'm going to move it around one twist, a 90-degree twist, and that's my critical move, because I'm putting this piece back 90 degrees from where it's been. then I can just drop this one down, the one with the green on it, and you'll notice that this one here is the one that moves around, so to speak, to come back next to this piece. So this piece here is staying 90 degrees out, so I twist that back around to there, and when I twist it back up it lines up, and that should be, the whole block should be moved by 90 degrees. And now I should be left with a 3 cycle instead of a swap of these pieces. Let's have a look at how that works on the actual Rubik's Cube with the additional distracting pieces. I've got one edge piece that's placed correctly, and these 2 edge pieces need swapping. So I'm going to need to move this block around 90 degrees in order to make this into a 3 cycle, so that my edge pieces can rotate around and be placed. I'm just going to mark this to make it visible for you. I'm going to do it a little bit differently to how I did it last time. Just the reason for that is I just want to show you that any way that you do it, as long as you know what you intend to achieve, any way that you do it is really irrelevant. In this case, in this time, I'm going to just use this face as a bit of a pendulum. This little block here is a bit of a pendulum. I'm going to just pull it up to begin with, and I'm going to bury this, or hide these 2 pieces here down in there. I'm going to then move my edge piece that I'm going to do a critical move with on top there. I'm going to bring that back up. Now here's my critical move. The edge piece that I've hidden around here was here. It's going to move to here. So there's my 90 degrees shift of that position. Then when I hide that down in that slot, or we've done this sort of move before, where I line up my green with my green sticker and I hide that down in there, move that around 2 turns, and then line that back up. They've shifted now 90 degrees, and I should have a 3 cycle across here where this piece needs to go to here, this piece needs to go to here, and this piece needs to come over to here. So I've got my 3 cycle there. I just have to figure out which orientation I need. Now this piece here needs to be flipped. This piece here is going to go in directly, and this piece here is going to go in directly. So that just means my first twist is going to be this one, to put that one in. Then this one is going to come on top of that one, which is the one that needed flipping. Put that back and put that back, and then I have my 3 edge pieces solved. I've got 4 corners now that need to be placed. One's actually fortuitously placed, just needs orientating, and these 3 need to be 3 cycled. I'm going to take a solved puzzle and I'm going to run you through the 2 different cases for how I'm going to deal with corners from now on. That edge piece cycle that I've done just by doing those 4 moves also moves some corners. Now if I just repeat that once more and then 3 times, what that does is it puts my edge pieces back, because they've cycled around 3 times. If I just do it 3 times, they go back, and it's caused a double swap of my corners. That means that these 2 corners have swapped with each other, and these 2 corners have swapped with each other. Now if you've got a situation where you've got 4 corners to place, they're always going to be in a double swap, and you just have to place the 2 that need switching there and the other 2 that need switching there, and do your edge piece series 3 times, and your corners will be placed. They won't necessarily be orientated because we haven't orientated them yet. They'll be placed. The other thing is going to be a 3 cycle. That's the other thing we're going to have to deal with. And whatever position it's in, we're going to use a simple commutator to do that, just based on the same little sequence. And I'll show you how it will work. If I do that sequence of 4 moves, and then I undo the same sequence, that puts the cube back. Now if I do my little edge piece series, starting with my right face, my up face, right back, up back, you'll notice that it isolates this corner piece on the back face. Now if I exchange that corner piece with another corner piece, I'll introduce a new corner piece onto the back face in its position, in its place, and then I undo it. So instead of doing my right face first, I'll do my up face first, and back and back. And then I return this. You'll notice that I've created a 3 cycle of corner pieces. Now that 3 cycle is what we're going to use just to put those, to place those last 3 pieces. So let's see how that works on the actual puzzle. I've got one corner that's already placed. It needs reorientating, but it's placed. And I've got 3 corner pieces that need switching around. So I'm going to take 2 of them, doesn't matter which ones, these 2, and put them on the back face, and this one here on my front face, on this right hand position where I'm going to push in. And this is my Y shape across here. This shape here across here is my Y shape, so I'm going to just use my right hand first, and this corner piece will go into this position here after I've done that little series, that little sequence. I want the position here to be the one that it needs to turn into, and in that case it's this one, because I've got my orange, yellow and blue piece needs to go into the orange, yellow and blue position. So I'm just going to turn my back face, which is the yellow face, until it's lined up with there, so that I can push that piece into there. And I'm going to affect these pieces here. The only one that really matters at the moment is this piece here goes into this position. So here I go. I'm turning my right face forward, or away from me, my up face away from me, my right face back, my up face back. That's it. It looks a bit mucked up around here at the moment, but I'm just going to undo that. And this piece here is, critically, that piece is in the correct position. Now I'm going to twist my puzzle around. Remember that I've got this piece that's in its correct position. This piece here is the one that needs to come up there. Doesn't matter if I forget or if I'm not quite sure, because you'll notice that this piece should be the yellow, blue and red piece, and that is the piece here ready to fire, ready to shoot across down into there. And this time I'm going to turn my up face first, because I want to undo that little series. So I'll turn my up face, my right face, and then my up face back, and then my right face back, and everything comes back together. Sometimes you need to twist the back face, but in this case we put the back face in first, so it doesn't need twisting. But all my pieces are now placed. It doesn't matter also whether, because we've got this Y shape happening, it doesn't matter whether the pieces were opposite each other here and here, because it's the same situation. First thing is you line up that one, you trade it out, and then you move it around and trade that one out if that's the case. But now we've got all our pieces positioned, and we're just left with some corners that need orientating. I'm going to show you again how to orientate pieces on the solved puzzle. Orientating corners is a very similar technique to placing them. I'm going to use exactly the same short sequence, except this time I'm going to do it twice. If you remember when we were placing corners, the short sequence moved or switched these two pieces here. In this case, I'm going to switch them and then switch them back, and that is going to reorientate both of the corners. I'm actually going to do it backwards just so that you can see it better. It's a nicer way to do it. And it also shows you that no matter which way around you do these things, it all works. So it's good to sort of get used to the idea that these things can happen in various ways. I'm going to pull towards myself this time first. So I'm going to go towards myself, and then I'm going to go away from myself and away from myself. Now that's made my Y shape across here on the back there. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go towards myself, and away from myself and away. Now you'll notice that this half of the cube is a little bit mucked up, but this layer here has, or the front layer here has got one that's orientated on it. If I just exchange that out with another one, and then I undo my sequence, so I'll do that by going towards myself first this time with the top one, instead of the right one. I go towards myself, away, away, towards, away, away. You'll notice that my front face, once I put it back, has two orientated pieces on it. Now that's very, very similar to how I would place corners, except in this case I'm doing the sequence twice instead of once. Also, you might remember that doing the sequence 6 times puts everything back as it was into a fully solved state. So if I have 3 corners that need orientating, and I go towards myself, away, away. Now if I change positions now, I change my corner out, and instead of doing the opposite, if I keep going in the same direction, if I go towards, away, away, and do that twice, and then exchange it out for a third one, and go towards, away, away, and then 2 turns at the end, you'll notice it orientates 3 corners. That's just because 2 cycles, and then 2 again, and then 2 again, adds up to the 6, and we end up with 3 being orientated. So we can do 2 or 3 with this same technique. With the 3 we just keep going in the same direction, and with 2 we exchange it out and then do it backwards. Let's see how this works on the actual puzzle again. The puzzle can be a little bit more confusing because in this case we've got 4 corners that need orientating. They're not all on the same face. How do I go about it? How do I start? I'm going to choose 2 pieces that are together, or 2 stickers that are the same colour on the one face that need orientating, and a simple way to remember how to do it is when I pull towards myself, I want the colour of the sticker that matches the face to come up onto that face first. So in this case it's the blue one coming up, and my 2 stickers are here together on that side. So I'm going to go towards, away, away, towards, away, away. Now this one has been orientated correctly. I'm going to change it out with the other one, and in this case it'll be undoing it. So the same, it'll be the blue sticker coming up on the blue face, towards, towards, away, away, and then do it again. Towards, towards, away, away, and then replace that back around. Now on my yellow face, I've got my last two, and my yellow stickers are here and here. I'm going to place this one first and then twist this one into its position. So I'll go towards, towards, away, away, towards, towards, away, away, and then exchange it out with this one, which is my last one. And again, the yellow sticker will come up first, so I'll go towards, towards, away, away, and just in case you forget halfway through, the yellow sticker again comes back up towards, towards, away, away, and then the last thing that I need to do is just twist my upper face back into position and my puzzle is solved. Hopefully I've given you enough to get yourself through, solve all of the situations that you come across quite simply and mainly intuitively with the block building technique.